Good evening. Welcome to the Fall Old Fourth Ward Association meeting. Tonight, our theme is supporting local businesses. We'll start with members of our board of directors speaking on behalf of selected local businesses. We tried to cover as many as we could. We couldn't cover them all. During this time, only the speakers will have an active microphone. All guests will have their microphones muted. Questions may be asked during the presentations, and we'll put them in the chat feature to be responded to at the end of the presentations. If you have a question, just click chat and enter your question. This meeting is being recorded, and we will send you a link to the recording along with written summaries of each presentation. Those will be provided later in the week. Thank you so much for coming. Before I start, Julie sent me an email this morning and asked that I say a few words about our local businesses for which we are so grateful. So this is what Julie wrote to me, and I share these sentiments completely. We are also fortunate to have the Carytown District local businesses. Their unique offerings cover a variety of everyday necessities and special treats. These small businesses are what have made Ann Arbor a destination for people from all over the world. We can all contribute to their continued operation by purchasing our daily needs and our gifts for others from our neighbors in the Carytown District. We can get through the pandemic together. And a special mention to the property owners and landlords in the district. Both the Carytown owners, Joe and Andrew O'Neill, and the Balakis family, who owns a number of the buildings where these businesses are located, have lowered rents for their tenants during these difficult times. We're very grateful to them. I want to note that they are both local landlords, longtime Ann Arbor families, and we really appreciate the sense of community they bring to how they practice business. One of our local businesses asked Julie to make sure to mention that closed does not mean closed permanently. There are some other local publications that have kind of made that seem as if it were the case, when really it is just a pause for the pandemic. So keep checking back with your favorites. We truly have a neighborhood full of goodwill, good relationships, and great activities and resources for all of us. So thank you, Julie, for writing that. It's beautiful. So we're going to start now with the presentations. Bethany is the first one to make a presentation. First, Bethany, I'll let you carry on by yourself.
All right, thank you, Chris. For anyone else who's attending, thank you so much for checking in. We really miss meeting in person, especially community meeting. But I'm very pleased to report on two of my favorite Carytown businesses. In fact, they're all my favorites, but these ones I know them personally somewhat. The first is Mott and Bailey Booksellers at 212 North 4th Avenue. With Jean Alloway, who's the owner and proprietor, and the beautiful Thistle and Bess at 222 North 4th with Diana Marsh, the owner proprietor. I'm discussing them kind of together because they're so nearby and they share certain business strategies and how they've been carrying on. So they are combined here. Mott and Bailey is a very specialized used and rare bookstore with literally more than 10,000 titles in their inventory. They also sell historic posters and ephemera and other specialty papers. Additionally, in normal times, not now, but they perform estate appraisals and insurance appraisals and specialized services such as that. Thistle and Bess is a boutique home and lifestyle store which offers charming inventory of vintage, antique, and new modern and craft objects that include fine jewelry, home decor, candles, perfumes, books, and just so many a rotating inventory of beautiful treasures. They also, when times are different than now, they also offer sometimes workshops and special events in the store that are really nice for the community and always well attended when they're able to do that. Both of the shops were closed to indoor in-store shopping for almost 4 months. Currently, they are open to in-store shopping, and their hours both have recently been increasing a bit, which is nice. Of course, they're limiting the number of shoppers allowed inside, and masks, of course, are required. But it's so nice to be able to go in the stores now and to say hello also to these really lovely owners. In their case, in each of these businesses, they were very fortunate to already have established online shopping platforms and very loyal customer groups. Mott and Bailey originally was an online only vendor, and they opened their first brick and mortar store on Ann Street in 2000. And they relocated to the current location on North 4th in 2006. Thistle and Bess has been 5 years in business in this location on that block in Ann Arbor, but she also started as an online jewelry store only based in Brooklyn, New York. So during the time that the shops were closed, both owners worked very diligently to put as much inventory as they could online. And they continue to sell online. And as I say, now they're also open in store as well, which is really, really nice. I also am going to say both these proprietors have told me what Julie and Chris referenced, in that their landlord, the Belacos family, just made significant rent reductions for all their tenants for at least 6 months and more if need be. And that has allowed them to continue in a pretty strong way, even though, you know, they've taken some hit, lacking in-person shopping for this period of time. But I hope that if you're not familiar with some of these local businesses, I really hope you'll either stop by to see them or check them out online, or please support the local businesses, because I think the thing that you will note, these are not just businesses. These store owners are, in every case of all these local businesses, they are passionate. They love what they do. The experience that you will get, it's not just like any chain store or some store. It's just really delightful to know these people and to support their businesses. So thank you so much. And I hope you will continue to support our businesses. Thank you.
Thank you, Bethany. I want to put in a plug. I think Thistle and Bess has some of the best perfumes in the world. I have some on right now. I just put
Me
it
too.
on.
Me too, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, from one of the best perfume companies in France. So
yeah, I do. I have 902 is the one I'm
I have
doing with.
I have 302 on right now. Anyway, let's continue.
Solidarity.
Our next presenter is Julie Ritter.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to talk about 3 of our local businesses. The first one is Park Shoe Repair at 120 North 4th Avenue. And of all the locations in the Carytown district, this is the one I've been going to the longest. They have been in their location since 1961. The current owners, Todd and Debbie Roberts, are the third owners of Park Shoe Repair, and they carry on the tradition of experienced and professional service. They also have a presence on Facebook and Twitter. Park Shoe Repair has full service repair. They can fix, polish, refinish, waterproof, reheal, and repair shoes and boots, purses and bags, and even leather coats, anything leather. They have a reheal deal card. After you have 5 reheals, you get 1 for free. Like other businesses in Carytown, the impact of the pandemic has forced the Roberts to cut back their hours of operation and reduce their staff, but they are still open 6 days a week. The fact that the courthouse is now mostly remote and the university is also mostly remote has reduced their volume of business, what Todd calls the slow days of summer. But their Tecumseh location is going full tilt, so they're managing to keep both operations open. Park's selection of DIY products is also top drawer. They have excellent creams, polishes, and cleaners for all leather needs, as well as a wide variety of high-quality shoelaces of any type or length imaginable. Debbie and Todd are happy to give you advice if you want to try to do things yourself at home, and they've given me some excellent pointers over the years for touching up and maintaining my shoes and boots. We are all very happy to have Park Shoe Repair remaining an important part of our neighborhood. The second place I'm going to report on is Ann Arbor Running Company at 200 North 4th. They are our Carytown district store serving the running and walking community. The owners, Nicholas Stanko and Ian Forsyth, opened their first location on Eisenhower in 2014 and the second location in 2017. They also have an online presence on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, as well as a website. When the pandemic shutdown started, most staff were furloughed, and Nicholas and Ian took care of all the phone and online orders and the curbside pickup. As soon as it was possible, they started adding back staff and hours, and they are still not at full capacity, but they're managing. The running company now has in-store, curbside, and online shopping at both locations. They continue to sponsor group runs on Tuesdays and Saturdays, as well as running and biking events throughout the year with proper pandemic precautions. And they also have an online class for new runners. All this information is available on their website. The Ann Arbor Running Company is not just for runners. They are there for anyone who wants to get the best service and fit for their feet, whether running, walking, or standing all day. They fit not only for size, but for foot structure, which I didn't know about. I could probably use a visit there. So runners, walkers, and bikers in our neighborhood, stop by Ann Arbor Running Company for your athletic footwear needs. And last, but far from least, is Tea House, our wonderfully unique Carytown district store. It's just Tea House. At 204 and 6 North 4th Avenue, it first opened in 2007. The founder and proprietor, Lisa McDonald, moved to Ann Arbor in 2006 from Ann Arbor's sister city, Tübingen, Germany, where she had lived for almost 14 years and operated her store there. She opened Tea House here in Ann Arbor because she missed the tea house in Tübingen. And she feels the Carytown district fondly reminds her of Germany. At the time Tea House opened, Lisa had 2 small children, boys who were 2 years old and 3 days old. Her children have grown up in Carytown, and she holds a strong affection for our little corner of the world as a result of this. In addition to Tea House on 4th Avenue, which includes both a retail specialty tea location and a very admired lunchroom, Lisa also opened Eat More Tea on 211 East Ann Street. These places all have websites and are present on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Since the shutdown earlier this year, Lisa has used Eat More Tea to have her amazing staff, and they are really great, create 300 to 600 meals per week that are delivered to places like the Delana Center, Food Gatherers, and the Ann Arbor Public Schools. Tea House has temporarily closed its popular lunchroom next to the original tea store. However, you can still go online and order things to pick up at their curbside window. The creative and skilled chefs make the most amazing cookies, cakes, scones, every kind of pastry and quiche, and especially their favorite, French macarons, not to be confused with macaroons. The tea store itself is also open to customers with masks and social distancing and selling all their range of products, including 175 teas from around the world, Ayurvedic teas, and every specialty tea you can imagine. You can order curbside, online, or have the items shipped to your house. Both staff and hours of service have been cut back. However, Tea House has a very active online presence, which is helping to keep the store afloat during the pandemic. They used to offer in-person classes and tastings, and these have now moved online, and they've proven surprisingly popular. The last class had 41 attendees from all over the country. We are very fortunate to have this enthusiastic and unique store right down the street. And something tells me from talking to these 3 different businesses that it's very possible that a lot of the new measures that they've had to adopt because of this pandemic will be carried forward into the future and help make them even more successful, and I sure hope so. Thank you.
Thanks, Julie. Our next presenter is Susan Weinberg.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to talk about our premier artistic institution in our neighborhood, which is the Carytown Concert House. One of my husband's and my favorite spots in the neighborhood is the Carytown Concert House, where we've heard great music for decades. For the last 36 years, the Concert House at 415 North 4th Avenue has produced internationally renowned concerts covering both classical and jazz music and other forms of performance art. From its 1866 house across the street from the historic Ann Arbor Farmers Market. This performance space was the brainchild of Deanna Relier, an opera singer who was its director for many years and who now produces Edge Fest, a week-long festival featuring avant-garde jazz. The house's L-shaped space can accommodate over 100 people when operating in normal times. But these are COVID times. And they have responded quickly to the pandemic by producing virtual concerts. There is a special focus created by new director Marnika Swartout-Bibu called Live at the 415, which is world-class artists up close and personal every Sunday at, I think it's 4 o'clock. In lieu of tickets, one donates to watch a streamed performance. Swartout-Bibu, also a singer who began her tenure only a year ago, works by the maxim that when nothing goes right, go left. She will be adding 3 new conversation concerts, as she calls them, on Thursdays at 5:30. One featuring jazz chats with cool cats, which is led by Pete Sears. Then Louise Lessons featuring classical pianist, raconteur, and KCH favorite Louis Nagel. And I can attest to that because I just watched a Louis Nagel concert. He's a fabulous pianist. And then third one, Laughter at the Happy House, featuring the iconic duo of Balcom and Morris, who will regale us with tales and songs from their cabaret adventures. This year, Edge Fest has changed its format and will celebrate its 24th season, dubbed Partial to the Edge, with a series of 6 Friday night concerts between October and March. Instead of their week-long festival, this is what they're going to be doing. To top it off, Saturday nights will feature additional creative programming from a variety of genres and artists. To find their schedule, you should just check them out on the internet. And I highly encourage you to support them. They are a fantastic, unique presence in our neighborhood and are known all over the world for the concerts they produce, both jazz and classical. Thank you.
Thanks, Susan. Our next presenter is Ron Suarez.
Okay, Ron is on mute right now. I've been trying to get him to unmute.
I think he shared his presentation with all of us.
There he is.
Oh, there he is. Okay.
He needs to unmute, but he's there.
There.
Just
There we go.
later in.
You know, if I do this.
I didn't understand that, Ron.
We can hear you now.
Doing.
I'm sorry you broke up.
He's still chewing.
He's still chewing. Okay, when you finish chewing,
That's why I muted my screen, because I was.
when you're finished,
Oh,
we're
what-
eager to hear what you have to say.
All right. I am done. I was almost done. I did ask earlier about the timing and thought that I was going to be able to get dinner in because, anyway, sorry about that. So I spoke with Phyllis Engelbert of the Detroit Street Filling Station. And I did record a video, and it is on YouTube. In addition to which, Phyllis has written about 30 pages of her experience. So Jeff will provide a link when he publishes this for the public. I wrote a blog post about what she's doing as an example of new business models that people should adopt for getting through COVID-19. I embedded her Google Doc within that. So when I asked her in the video, she said that one of the first things they did early on was to start a delivery service, and they enhanced their online store to make it much more user-friendly for people to order carry out and delivery online. They also started offering groceries for sale since they already had so many ingredients in-house. And it became easy to offer them or even individual items or portioned out items like quarts of rice or nuts and things like that for sale to make it easier for people to do one-stop shopping. So people can pull up curbside and you can get a box of dinner to go that's prepared for you to eat and groceries all at the same time. Another thing that Phyllis did was to improve the outdoor seating situation. It's cold out now, but they have heaters and fire pits and even blankets. And they've expanded the number of tables that they have outside for people to safely sit 6 feet apart while outdoors. And they're not going to offer any indoor dining until the situation is safe. Another thing that they did, which I thought was really remarkable, was their community aid program. They offered free food to anybody who lost their job to COVID. I remembered early on seeing a sign up in the window over at Sparrows that anybody who needed free food should just go over to the Detroit Filling Station. And so anybody who had lost their job due to COVID, or they ended up feeding just about anybody in need. And they gave out probably about $20,000 worth of food through that period. And they're still doing the program for people who have lost their job due to COVID. And a call-in order can be ready for them for free. And that can include groceries and prepared foods. And then I asked Phyllis, well, you know, what is this? What do we learn from this about going forward? And she also mentioned that, you know, beyond food, they've been activists in politics. They've been registering people to vote and have helped people by providing them with information and resources in order to run their own voter registration. And they did a campaign around the Postal Service where they supplied 1,000 stamped addressed postcards to the White House and said, I love the US Postal Service, to have their customers write messages on them. And they've raised close to $2,000 now for a Peace Neighborhood Center through the sale of Black Lives Matter shirts, t-shirts, sweatshirts, face masks, and that kind of thing. And she wanted to emphasize that what was really important was keeping her staff and customers safe and providing transparency about how they were operating. And that something that they will carry forward will be their delivery efforts and groceries, and just continuing the emphasis on helping people, that if people need food, they will help them.
Thank you, Ron. That's excellent. Yeah, they're a wonderful restaurant. Our next presenter is Eileen Tyler. Put down your knitting, Eileen.
I did, but I had to unmute myself. So good evening, everybody. I have a little statement which I have reviewed with Mary from Everyday Wines, but she didn't have time to go into more detail, but she endorsed what I was saying. So I will share that with you now. So I'm a long time but casual customer of Everyday Wines. I feel like I am discovering them all over again during this time of COVID-19. After my first order was delivered to our doorstep last March, Everyday Wines quickly became a lifeline to feeling any semblance of normalcy in our daily routine of cooking and eating exclusively at home. I have become a loyal fan and advocate for their survival strategy that offers both delivery and curbside pickup to customers. I've even settled in on two favorite wines, a white and a red, that are always part of every order, along with a few new ones to try. Instead of buying just one or two bottles at a time when shopping in Carytown, and that I then have to carry all over with me with everything else, I now order a dozen bottles at a time, perhaps adding a 6-pack of beer or a sweet vermouth or something else I might want to try, and this will last us a few weeks. The staff of Everyday Wines is readily available to assist with wine choices that encourage returning patrons and build customer loyalty, that is for sure. While they also accept walk-up customers, they have a table now inside Carytown where you can walk up and buy things. They don't have people circulating in the store. It has been this user-friendly online shopping, great prices, and quick service that keep me returning to them for my wine and beer purchases. And someday I'll have a patio party with them providing all the material for that. I hope to do that, but probably won't happen now till spring. Anyway, I endorse them, and I find that it is consistent with what I'm hearing about all these other businesses. And we are so grateful to have the variety and the service-oriented individual property of businesses.
And you put this way, really wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eileen. Yeah, they're a wonderful store. Last year for Christmas, I got Jeff a case of wines especially selected for Christmas from Everyday Wine. So that's, they also do gift boxes. And anyway, they are a wonderful store. Okay, our next presentation is from Eleanor Crown.
Good evening, everybody. I'm glad all of you could come. I've been in touch with Amelia Malk from EAT, which you may be aware has now opened a location in Carytown Shops. I have not, this is all from contacts that I had with her prior to the opening, because I certainly have not bothered anyone who just opened a restaurant a week and a half ago. Where many businesses around town are trying to just get through this crisis, EAT is a real exception. They have now expanded to a second location. I think we should applaud them for their confidence in their own vision and in the community. Some of you may have sampled their food at from the Packard Street location, or when they were part of Mark's Carts. Before they opened the Packard location, their business was primarily a catering service, operating out of a commissary kitchen. Now that there are no events to cater, they are very happy that they already had the infrastructure in place for carryout. So they didn't have to sort of retool everything for the pandemic. EAT the lunchroom, and Sand Street, which became Miss Kim, were all friends when they were all working at Mark's Carts. So they have a good working relationship with each other. When the lunchroom decided to close their Carytown location in order to concentrate on the Detroit Street filling station and their bakery and cafe in Huron Towers, they reached out to see if EAT would be interested in the Carytown space. EAT had been looking for a place with more dine-in seating. And so they were, even though the timing was certainly not perfect, they decided to go ahead with it. Amelia credits Phyllis from the lunchroom for the help and support she provided to help them get up and running. They're now only in their second week, and I have not had a chance yet to try their food, but I look forward to being able to do that. They offer a limited menu, but it changes with the week and sometimes with the season. They have meals, sandwiches, salads that concentrate on freshness and feature a wider range of seasonal specials. They characterize their food as unique, interesting, and completely approachable. You'll find vegetarian, vegan, and gluten-free options. The Carytown location offers lunch and dinner Tuesday through Saturday, and breakfast and brunch on Saturday and Sunday. And here's the message directly from Amelia. We will open for carryout and outdoor seating at first. Our menu will be similar to the menu at our Packard location, but we'll be offering breakfast and brunch on the weekends. Our official opening date is October 10. We haven't made any decisions about when we'll open for indoor dining yet. We know winter is coming, but we don't know what else is coming. Don't we all wish we could know? Of course, we're constantly monitoring the pandemic and we're eager to open fully, but safety is paramount. We will make changes when we feel it's safe to do so for our staff and the community at large. We aren't planning on offering delivery, but if the pandemic takes a turn for the even worse, we'll definitely reconsider. Although our dining room is pretty small, it's perfect for private indoor gatherings of 10 people or less per current restrictions. So if anyone is looking for a small venue to have a dinner party, think of us. Thanks.
Thanks, Eleanor. I'm next, and my report is on Spun. Spun is the yarn store on the second floor of the Carytown building, the first Carytown building, and it's owned by Carol and Pete Sickman Garner. And I went in to see how they're doing and got started on a sweater. So this is yarn made from yarn from Spun, and it's yarn from Michigan. It's wool. It's spun here in Michigan. It's merino wool, and it's wonderful. I also bought my needles, and I bought everything from them. It's one of the best yarn stores I've ever seen. And that's saying quite a bit because we've had some very good yarn stores here in Ann Arbor, and I've been to a lot of yarn stores. She said that they have had some challenges with the pandemic, as every business has had. She said they lost some help and had to rehire other people because some of their employees were uncomfortable working in the store when they finally were able to reopen. She understood that, but they're doing mail order. And Carol also said that they've kind of reprogrammed their website so that they're doing different things to promote different products for knitting in the community. She even said to me if I wanted something, she'd deliver it to my house since I live just 2 blocks away. So I said one of the joys for me was coming into the store because we have been out so very little. So it was really a pleasure to go in there and to see all of the different yarns that they have. They put out a postcard like this, and it lists all the different yarn companies that they sponsor. These are top quality fibers. Many of them are merino wool, which is very wearable, even for people who often can't tolerate other wools. I know I have some trouble with that. I can wear merino wool. And the companies that they stock are, they have Michigan companies, such as the one that I'm using, but they have companies from Europe and other parts of America, and actually from all over the world. She says they're doing okay, and they were very, very grateful to the O'Neills for giving them rent adjustments, which is helping them to hang on. So if any of you are knitters, I urge you to go over there. They're very helpful. They're not doing knitting lessons right now, but I made a copy of the pattern I wanted to knit, and I went over there. I said, for the life of me, I cannot find the gauge in this pattern. And sure enough, it was not printed on the pattern. It's really important because that tells you how many stitches per inch you should have. And if you want things to come out the right size, you have to knit. It's a mathematical formula. So, so anyway, they were very helpful in looking up the yarn that was suggested, making a comparison. That meant I had to buy new needles, which I was happy to do. And so they're just very helpful as much as they can be. And I was back there on Saturday because I decided I wanted to add another color stripe to this. So I picked up the purple you see in there, and they were quite busy on Saturday. So I was very, very happy to see that. So we're very lucky to have that wonderful yarn store right here in Ann Arbor. Okay.
Let me add one thing that you didn't touch on, Chris, and that they provide free yarn to knitters who will make gloves and hats and scarves for the homeless.
Thank you. I didn't know that.
I know a lot of friends who are prolific knitters, and they have been doing that for several years now. And they've said they are still doing it yet this year, and they're already accepting those donations for winter. So if you don't know who else to knit for, you can pick up this free yarn. It'll probably give you the pattern. I'm not fast enough knitter to do that, but I have friends that have been doing it, and they give you the free yarn. They have a whole basket of the free yarn that they'll give you.
Yeah. And it's top quality yarn. I thank you for adding that, because she didn't mention that to me. So if any of you knit and would just like a project, I found that in starting this sweater, it's been very therapeutic. There's something very meditative about knitting. And when the craziness that we're living through, both in terms of the coronavirus, but also the political situation, when it really gets to you, it's great to retreat into something where you can just kind of rhythmically meditate and go along and create something beautiful at the same time. Okay, our next presentation is from Jeff.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Steve for bringing, I think Asher, was that Asher, Steve? Here, is he there? I mean, I thought that was very cool. Hi, Asher.
Well, now you can say hi.
Hi.
Say hi
Well,
to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Asher.
Hi, Asher. We're so pleased that you could join our meeting. This is fantastic. Thank you very much. And you know, putting this together has been a blast. I mean, it's going around meeting people and connecting with each other and learning about all the cool things that are going on in the neighborhood. This has been a lot of fun. And it was really a pleasure to go over to the Broken Egg, which we found out thanks to Susan Weinberg, who, with her historic Ann Arbor book, which is available on Amazon, by the way, along with Patrick McCauley, we learned that the Broken Egg is in a building that was built in the late in 1867. And over the years, this building has housed a number of different kind of retail establishments, including Boots and Shoes, a butcher, and a grocer. And Ann Arbor townies will also remember that this was a location for the old-fashioned soup kitchen. So it was a real pleasure meeting the owner, Gina Pintelli, and it's located at 221 North Main. And as it turns out, we had an opportunity to sit down and hear her life story, which is fascinating. She grew up in Cyprus. She came over to the United States when she was a child, ended up living in Grosse Pointe. And go figure this one out. She and I went to the same high school in Detroit, Cass Tech. We found that out. We graduated just 1 year apart. So how cool is that? So this is great. We're going to be back there a lot. So the Broken Egg has been described by a number of different publications over the years as one of the best brunch spots in Ann Arbor. According, and I'm going to quote this one national marketplace site, Ulu, who described this Broken Egg to a T. This quaint 1950s style diner serves a mean omelet. Oh yeah, just to make sure you're hungry when you go there. I mean, really hungry. If you're a fan of the savory breakfast, jumbo-sized 3-egg versions of classic dishes are the Broken Egg specialty. Topped with a mountain of cheese and served with delicious hash browns and a pile of perfectly buttered toast. Finishing an omelet from the Broken Egg is a feat I long to accomplish, is what the writer said. And for those with a sweet tooth, never fear, this restaurant offers everything from a classic stack of pancakes to an indulgent plate of cinnamon swirl custard dip French toast. Have I got you guys yet? Featuring a menu full of anything you could ever crave for breakfast at reasonable prices. I mean, the omelets we got were like $10 and it was like huge. These are huge omelets with hash browns and toast. It was just a great deal. So we ate, when we were there, something called the Greek fetish omelet. That's what Chris had. And I had the Chicago omelet. And we were both very pleased that the vegetables and eggs were all organic, which is important for us. So for more on the Broken Egg, you can go to their website or Facebook page. And when you're at the website, be sure to click and press Tasty Tuesday to see a 3-minute video clip from a WDI segment that was done a number of years ago featuring the Broken Egg. And after you do, you will understand why we in the Old Fourth Ward know that the perfect way to start our day is to brunch at the Broken Egg, which is open 5 days a week from 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. during this pandemic, excluding Tuesdays and Wednesdays. But I am pleased to report that when we went there, it was clear they observed social distance, they wore masks, and you can order for takeout over the menu. So if you're looking for a wonderful place for breakfast and brunch, go to the Broken Egg. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, when I was at Community High, Broken Egg was a Community High hangout. So they've been part of our community for a long time. And of course, I love to speak a little Greek with when I go over there, which is always fun. Our next presentation is from me. I think. No, People's Food Co-op. That's from Ann. Ann, you're next.
Thank you. I am going to read the report for People's Food Co-op on North 4th Avenue, originally written by Jamie McGeera. But first, I'd like to mention that last night at council, council proclaimed October to be Cooperatives Month. And we thanked the People's Food Co-op, Arrowwood, U of M Credit Union, and all the co-ops and the ICC co-ops and all the great community benefits that co-ops provide. So Jamie writes that there's a lot of great things happening at People's Food Co-op while they strive to serve the community during these difficult times. In early spring, they piloted a program to pair volunteer shoppers with members of who are isolating in their homes. And they also are piloting an online ordering system and curbside pickup program. During the summer, they joined the Double Up Food Bucks program, which doubles the amount of fresh fruits and vegetables that EBT bridge card holders can get for their money. And throughout the year, the co-op has been partnering with a variety of community groups in the Change for Change program, where shoppers can round up their purchase amount to donate to important causes. And through the Change for Change program, they've raised thousands of dollars for organizations including Ozone House, Safe House, Food Gatherers, Ipsy Meals on Wheels, We the People Opportunity Farm, Community Action Network, and the Fair Housing Center. And if the Old Fourth Ward members have any suggestions for other groups to help, please let the co-op know. Cafe Verde reopened yesterday with drinks and snacks. They've also opened a bulk purchase pop-up area inside the cafe, you may have noticed, where members can purchase cases of dry food, drinks, paper towels, and toilet paper. The board meetings have transitioned to an online format, and members are encouraged to join them on the third Thursday of every month from 6:30 to 9. And they use the Blue Jeans virtual meeting platform. And we'll send the link in the follow-up materials. And lastly, in September, Jamie McGarrah, the president, was interviewed on the Very Ann Arbor radio show on 960 AM. And he talked about the history of food co-ops and the benefits they provide to the community across the country. And you can watch that interview and talk on SoundCloud. And in closing, the co-op values our friends in the Old Fourth Ward and looks forward to seeing everyone in the store and continuing collaboration in the community.
Thanks, Ann. Okay, my presentation is the last one for this evening, and we got a nice report from Grace Singleton at Zingerman's, and I'm going to read you parts of it. She was unable to join us. They try to stay. They're very busy, and there are a lot of logistical problems that all of the people running businesses have to confront more than ever right now. So she says, I know we're all trying to adjust our operations as best we can and continue to serve customers who have been loyal to us. The support of our regulars, as well as the continued shopping from people who are traveling or in town for various reasons, have been wonderful, and we are all very appreciative of everyone who has shopped with us online or in person. I think the biggest challenge is that we're all trying to keep ourselves, our staff, and our customers as safe as possible while still remaining a viable business. I think everyone knows that we are limiting the number of customers in our stores, and of course, that impacts our ability to generate sales. She said, this is the hardest thing she's ever had to navigate in her 30 plus years of business. She urges everyone to check the website. You can call in orders, and there are options for curbside pickup and delivery to help customers with shopping and dining. I know we go and pick up food there several times a month. So, and it always works as smooth as silk. It's just really great to go over there. Now, every year in December, the Carytown shops and Zingerman's has the big Kindle Fest to kick off the holiday season. But Grace writes about that. She says, we won't be hosting Kindle Fest this year, but we are promoting Festive Fridays in December. All of the downtown districts, South University, Main Street, State Street, and Carytown are working together to help get the word out and promote shopping locally in downtown Ann Arbor for the holidays. Every Friday in December, so that's December 4th, 11th, and 18th. They're going to have promotions in many of the retail stores, and they'll be staying open until 11 p.m. So we're going to miss Kindle Fest this year. We hope it makes a comeback next year. And Janet, I saw that you had a question about gift certificates, and Uh, uh, And I don't know the answer to that, but I will find out if Carytown has general Carytown gift certificates. I know the individual stores do. And we'll publish that information. We'll send that out to the membership. So anyway, that's the scoop on Zingerman's and the Carytown holiday plan. Okay. Well, that concludes our presentation part. So now we have audience participation. And
So you can type things into the chat to field the questions, or if you use the raise hand function, Jeff can call on you. One thing I'll just say about Zingerman's while I'm speaking, they also do delivery and it's pretty quick. So
Yeah.
you can choose
yeah,
delivery.
I mentioned that they'll do delivery. Yeah. Mhm.
You can choose delivery or pick up. It's sometimes easier just to go pick it up, but it is nice to know that's
Yeah.
an option.
We kind of enjoy just walking down the
Yeah.
street. And
Yeah, we do too.
so it's, but it is nice to know that they deliver as well.
We don't have a lot of people here, so just raise your hand if you want to make a comment, and then I'll unmute you. Okay, we'll start off with Jeff.
Hey, thanks for that. It's pretty interesting. And I guess I've lived here long enough that as soon as you started talking about all these different businesses, I started thinking about, my experiences with them and what, like Mott and Bailey used to be over on Ann, right? And that used to be
Right.
where they were, used to be a bike shop that I worked at called Multi-Gear way back when. And I guess it was a way back when, because that was when the bakery was next to the co-op space there. And so that was a while ago. And, I used to get my, the same thing, like the Park shoes and Mrs. Park. Ms. Park used to be in there and she'd do my Doc Martens when I was in college, and she'd sew the tabs back on the back when they'd come off. And it was just so awesome to have a place I could go to like that. And I know my daughter, Mrs. Kaleidoscope, which is now the running company. She found out about that place about 3 weeks before they folded, and so I'd never taken her in there, and it was pretty sad. But we did get to go to his auction out at the Washtenaw Council grounds, the Farm Council grounds out there, and they had every single building was full of that guy's books, and so it was pretty amazing. And we bid on some books, and we got a few things. And just a little side note, that Deanna from the Carytown Concert House, I did some work for her on one of her houses, and hanging up in the garage was the lid to the Steinway piano crate that she had saved with the spray paint, the delivery, the address of the Carytown Concert House on it. And I thought that was pretty cool to see that hanging up in there. And you always find cool stuff in old houses, but I'd never seen a top of a Steinway crate before. So that was interesting. And I think that's pretty cool about the yarn shop doing that knitting for the homeless. I'd never heard of such a thing before, but that's really neat. I've always been told that the most needed item in the homeless shelters are, socks and underwear. And so I imagine that gloves and hats and knit things are not far behind. So
I think they can do socks too.
Yeah, that's really a nice thing that they're doing. I'd never heard of such a thing. And so I just wanted to acknowledge that. And I didn't know Pete Sears was still around, but we used to see him at the old Ark when I lived next door to the old Ark, when it was down on South Main there.
Mm-hmm.
The South Main Market. And, I always thought that the woman from Everyday Wines was related to the wine shop that used to be in the back of South Main Market, but I'm not, somebody told me that was his daughter, but I'm not so sure that's true. But I've never had a bad selection from there. And she always said if I ever did, I could bring it back, but I never had. I had some really exotic stuff from there that I've never seen anywhere else. So it's just a treasure to have all this stuff in our community. And I just, thanks for the overview. I really appreciate it.